Today we're going to explore a remarkable geometric link between three sites that have each been tied in different ways to the mystery of Atlantis. A proposed location in the Azores, the Great Stone Circle of Avebury in England, and the enigmatic Richat Structure in Mauritania, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. At first glance, these places seem unrelated. A submerged plateau in the Atlantic, a massive circular formation in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and a colossal Neolithic stone ring in southern England. But when you connect them, not just geographically but through geometry, astronomy, and ancient myth, a very different picture begins to emerge. One that suggests a forgotten system of knowledge and maybe even the echoes of a lost civilization. In our previous episode, we explored the case for Atlantis being located on the Azores Plateau, a massive underwater landform in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Geological evidence, rising sea levels, and bathymetric scans all pointed to a compelling match with Plato's descriptions. In this episode, we begin with the Richat Structure, a geological marvel that rises from the Sahara's Adrar Plateau in west-central Mauritania. It's made up of massive concentric rings of rock, stretching some 40 kilometers across. So large that astronauts have used it as a landmark from space, the Richat Structure has long fascinated alternative researchers and Atlantis theorists alike. The similarities to Plato's description of Atlantis are immediately obvious: rings of land and water, a central island, and a remote location. But there's an issue. Plato's measurements place the diameter of the central ringed city at just under 2 kilometers. The Richat's rings, closer to 20. A significant discrepancy, and one that seems to rule it out until we look closer. Plato also describes a massive plain surrounding Atlantis, flat, fertile, and bordered by mountains that descend toward the sea. He gives its dimensions as 3,000 by 2,000 stadia, using a common conversion of 185.22 meters per stadion. That translates to about 555 by 370 kilometers. That's a total area of roughly 206,000 square kilometers, almost identical to the Azores Plateau, which lies beneath the Atlantic Ocean. The plain where the proposed Atlantis city lies in the Azores today is much smaller, just 40 by 25 kilometers, but it does fit the geographic profile: elevated, enclosed by high terrain, and ringed by submarine cliffs. Still, when we turn back to the Sahara, something astonishing happens. The Adrar Plateau, the geological platform on which the Richat Structure rests, measures just over 370 kilometers from north to south. That's almost exactly 2,000 stadia, and while the east-west boundaries are harder to measure due to sand and erosion, estimates place it at over 500 kilometers, comfortably exceeding 3,000 stadia. Which means that even if the Richat's rings are oversized, the plain around it matches Plato's account with uncanny precision. Now let's cross continents to Avebury in southern England. This is not just a stone circle. Avebury is the largest known megalithic circle on Earth. Its massive sarsen stones, many weighing 30 to 40 metric tons, with some reaching up to 100 tons, are arranged in concentric rings within a massive earthen hedge. The site is part of a much larger Neolithic complex that includes Silbury Hill, West Kennet, Long Barrow, and nearby Windmill Hill. Only 28 kilometers to the south lies Stonehenge, and as recent geochemical studies have shown, many of the stones at both Avebury and Stonehenge were quarried from the same region, West Woods, just a few kilometers away. This wasn't just one site, it was a cultural and spiritual epicenter. Avebury's construction began around 3000 BC, with major works completed by about 2600 BC. Interestingly, that places it squarely in the same time window as the Great Pyramid of Giza, two of the world's most iconic ancient sites. Built on different continents, yet rising almost simultaneously. Was it a coincidence? Researchers such as Howard Crowhurst, Richard Heath, and Robin Heath argue that many ancient sites are connected, not just spiritually or symbolically, but geometrically. They've shown that right-angled triangles formed by ancient monuments often follow whole number ratios, what we now call Pythagorean triples. These triangles frequently align with true north-south and east-north axes and may have been used for geodesy, navigation, or even planetary scale surveying. And when you apply this method to the sites we're discussing, the results are astonishing. Start at the proposed Atlantis site in the Azores. Draw a great circle line due east, exactly 90 degrees. Then draw a perpendicular line northward. It intersects precisely with the Richat structure. The leg from the Azores to the right angle measures 1,741.6 kilometers, almost exactly the radius of the Moon, with an error of just 0.24%. The return leg from Richat back to the Azores is 2,587.2 kilometers, equal to 23.3 degrees of the Earth's polar circumference. That number is no coincidence. 23.3 degrees is the average tilt of Earth's axis, the angle that defines our seasons and the boundaries of the tropics. The ratio between these two triangle legs is exactly 4:3. And when we examine another triangle, this one connecting Giza, Göbekli Tepe, and the Azores, we find a total perimeter of 2,586 kilometers. Again, that magic number, 23.3 degrees. Over and over these numbers repeat, embedded in Earth's geometry, etched into its monuments. Now, we come back to Avebury. Its latitude is 51.42 degrees north, exactly 4/7 of the way from the equator to the pole. The Azores site, its northernmost canal, lies at 38.57 degrees north, exactly 3/7 of the way from the equator. Two sites, perfectly mirrored, on opposite sides of the Earth. When we project the triangle from the Azores Richat right-angle formation and reflect it toward Avebury, we find that the new triangle aligns almost perfectly, falling short by just 19 kilometers. That level of accuracy across thousands of kilometers is difficult to dismiss. And when we factor in that the slope of the Great Pyramid is based on a ratio of 4.032/7, the same 4/7 that appears in Avebury's latitude, the implications become even more profound. Finally, consider this. The massive stone ring at Avebury may not be the largest in the world just by chance. Its size may represent something very specific, the circle that can be drawn around the base of the Great Pyramid. In other words, Avebury may not just be a henge, it may be a scaled-up diagram and a geodetic marker. So what are we really looking at? Are these alignments just chance? Or are they the remnants of a forgotten science, a code passed down across millennia by survivors of a lost age? Could Avebury, the Azores, and the Richat structure all be parts of a single system? A global memory etched in stone? If you haven't seen our previous episode where we explored the case for Atlantis being located on the Azores Plateau, I recommend checking it out. I've linked it here on the left. If you found this journey fascinating, subscribe to Awakened Epochs for more.